Good afternoon, everyone. We're excited to have a class on how to convert FSBOs into listings. So I want to welcome everyone here. Who's online besides Miss Sue? Are you the only one? Anybody else? All right. So we have Miss Joan here, Miss Elise here in the actual market center. So today, focusing mainly on lead generation strategies, and today we're going to focus on FSBOs. How many of you actually have worked in the area for sale by owners? You haven't? Okay. What'd you say, Miss Sue?
I said I have.
Okay, well, good. So you're going to help me teach the class. Anyway, so when I first got into the business, this was my focus on for sale by owners because I'd rather talk to a stranger and they reject me versus my family and friends reject me. And so I was pretty successful with for sale by owners. And so I'll just go through what I do, or what I still do, right? What I did and what I still do as far as how to convert the FSBOs into listings. All right. So as I always start any lead generation class, what are your 5 job duties as a realtor?
Listings.
Is that your lead generate? Okay. What's the second one? So this should be visible wherever. Always have it with you, okay? Because if you're not doing these 5 job duties as a realtor,
Lead follow-up, appointments.
all right, keep going. Lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments. Got 2 more.
Go to active sales, you can put that one in.
Negotiating contracts. And there's one more. What is it?
Follow-up.
Okay, your follow-up. Scripts and role play. So you need to know what to say, right?
Yeah.
And so for sale by owners, in order to be effective in for sale by owners, you have to know scripts, okay? So you're going to be doing a variety of other things as an agent, but if you don't master these 5, then you're not going to be as effective in your business, okay? So for sale by owners, it's the fastest source for listings. Why is that?
But they want to sell.
Okay, so they already raised their hand, right?
Yeah.
They want to sell. They're trying it on their own, but they want to sell because they've already said, hello, my house is for sale. So we have all different types of lead generation strategies, right? So I just always want to emphasize the sale by owner is just one way to get listings. This is one way to have seller listings because we're in the market right now where we need listings. Okay, how do we find good sale by owners?
Drive to the neighborhood.
Drive the neighborhoods. So how many of y'all see a for sale by owner in the neighborhood and just drive by?
I have done that before.
Okay.
I say I'll continue, but I did it before.
All right, so what did you do?
Well, actually, I took a picture of the sign and I did a little work on in terms of looking at what the sales were, but I didn't really follow through.
Did you ever call them?
No, that's what I'm saying. I should have. I didn't.
So drive the neighborhoods, take
I think I
pictures.
was scared.
Okay, so why were you scared?
Rejection.
Rejection. You don't know them. Why are you scared?
Rejection.
All right. So one way of finding is drive the neighborhoods. Right. Whenever you see it, take a picture, and then you're gonna know what to say and what to do after this class. Okay. So drive the neighborhood. There are some paid sources where you wake up every morning and you have a list of for sale by owners with their contact information. Okay. So that's Red X, Land Boys, Vulcan 7, and Archangel. Now Red X has a sale right now through the end of the year. and there's a discount, there are bundles and that sort of thing. I think, as I recall, Red X for sale by owners were like $49 a month. Okay, if you combine them with expires, you get a better deal, or some other like geoforming if you're going to be doing an area to focus on. So you might want to check out their sales. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. People always saying, if you ever go to Facebook Marketplace, people are putting their houses on the market, like advertising in the Facebook Marketplace. So those are ways to find for sale by owners. Any questions? Anything else? Anywhere else? How else are you finding for sale by owners?
You can go to Zillow.
Zillow? Yeah, but Zillow, most of the Zillow ones have already been listed unless they say they're for sale by owner. But that is for sale by owner.com is actually a brokerage. So they're not necessarily, you have to make sure that they're not listed with a brokerage. Okay, because you can't solicit those unless they are truly for sale by owner.
Well, how do you know the difference?
It'll say on the listing if it's if it's a true owner, if they'll have some information at the bottom of the listing to say if it's truly a for sale by owner.
I just saw one house. Buying, I was showing some houses in the street, and then in the way I noticed that it had a sign. When I feel showing, I turn around and I said, let me stop here. I went there, again, telephone connection, got the office, called the guy, and he said, okay, I need you. I talked to him, and we are in the future.
Oh, so you got the listing basic by driving, calling, and you got it for sale by owner. Okay, so it was that easy, right? Because again, for sale by owners, if they've been for sale by owners for a minute, they're tired of it. So it's interesting. I got one of my first for sale by owners. I said, okay. I was probably 2 weeks into real estate, did it, and they were like, I'm so tired of this one agent calling me. I'm not gonna listen with her. But come on, let's listen. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'll listen to you, right? So you never know. But that was a great story, Miss Lillian. All right. For 49% of for sale by owners, sellers do not use an agent because they want to save money, right? I can tell you probably not most of the time when you show them the numbers, they've underpriced their property anyway. So if you show them how you can sell it for a price that they're willing to sell it for, and also be able to list it in the MLS to get more promotion exposure, then they're more likely, all right, to list with you. One of the things you need to also talk about, and I got a listing based on this. I went to the for sale by owner. I went into the house, and she was a young girl, right, with a newborn baby, right. And so I went to and I said, so whenever someone calls you, you're actually coming out with your baby? And she said, yeah. I said, do you know the people that's coming? She said, no. I said, so let me understand this. So I almost made her scared, and I got the listing based on the fear, but she didn't realize what kind of situation she was putting herself into, because people who are not qualified, she never know who's going to come to the house, and she has a newborn baby every time she goes to show the house. So that's just an example of you just need to know what their mindset is at that point. So these are the different reasons why that you can discuss with the particular for sale by owners, right? So the reason why for sale by owner doesn't want to list with a realtor is because they don't want to spend 6% of the home for closing costs. They don't want to pay the realtor. So that's their main objection, because they don't want to pay us. But again, I just said, you get really more money if you go through the comps. They can get more money with the realtor and more exposure, okay? Again, you talked about the marketing of it. They can get their house on the MLS, again, more exposure versus doing it themselves, because 9 times out of 10, they just maybe put a sign in their yard, and they may or may not put it on Zillow, okay? The time factor. The FSBO usually has a hard time giving up enough time to show the home to potential buyers, right? Because most of them, are working or they have other things to do, so they don't have the time to actually meet buyers and expose their home and actually go show them, show their home. And then negotiation. For sale by owners, it's more like, well, they don't really want to negotiate with the particular buyer. They have a set amount. So you, as the real estate consultant, you are the negotiator for them. That's what they hire you for. So these are the 4 things: price, commission, marketing, time, and negotiation is why for sale by owners do not want to list with an agent. So if you can overcome those objections, then you're more likely to convert the for sale by owner. Any questions? All right. So FSBO in 5 steps. The biggest thing is mindset. What is the main objection why for sale by owners do not want to list with an agent?
Save money.
Save money, right? So if you can also have them change that mindset that it's not about saving money, because that's their main objection. It's about getting a house sold in the amount of time that they want to sell a house. Okay, so the 5 other step is know your scripts. For sale by owners, it's all about scripting, right? You got to outscript that particular owner. We're going to go through some scripts. Discover the seller's motivation to sell. You need to know why they're selling, what time frame, and where they need to go. So you're going to ask those same questions that you do with the listing presentation. You need to be the problem solver. Okay? Time, marketing, negotiation. We just talked about that. And then the biggest thing is you need to get face-to-face with a for sale by owner. Right? You want to be in person is to get to the appointment, because that's what one of your 5 job duties is, to go on appointments. So for sale by owners, you have to focus on getting to that appointment. We're going to talk a little bit on how to get that appointment. Any questions on the 5 steps? All right. The fortune is in the follow-up, right? So for sale by owners, you may not convert them on the first time, but you have to have a system to follow up with a for sale by owner. Okay, so it's got to be a systematic approach for converting for sale by owners. Ms. Lillian, you were lucky on that, right? I was lucky when I just happened to call them and they were like, come on.
Right time.
Huh? Okay, right.
But before that, it was my neighbor.
Mhm. Yep. Well, at least you had some relationship with that neighbor, because you didn't know him? Okay.
It was an inheritance.
Oh, okay. And see, they don't really know what to do for succession property. So you are the real estate expert when it comes to that, right? Because you're going to guide them. Exactly. So I always say the fortune is in the follow-up. That's with any lead generation. If you get a lead, you need to follow up, because if not, someone else is going to get that money, not you, all right? So fortune is in the follow-up. All right. This didn't come out too well. Okay. So the system for sale by owners, you find them. So you need to get their information through the tax records, or one of those sources can provide you with the information for contacting them. That's just the scripts.
No.
Okay. Follow up. It says follow up weekly. Mail, call, email, repeat. I usually call for sale by owners on Mondays. Why is that?
They
Why-
didn't show it, and nobody showed it the house on weekend.
Exactly. So one of my calls is, how did your showings go on when I make that follow-up call? How did your showings go? Oh, I didn't get any showings, right? So they're not discouraged because they're not getting any showings on their property. So follow up weekly. You send them something in the mail, you call, you email. It's a system. Especially, and eventually, when they're ready to list, they're going to think of you because you've been following up. Fortune is in a follow-up. Value. Provide items of value, like property disclosures. Most for sale by owners, even though it's required if you sell a property in Louisiana to have property disclosures, they don't know that. So if you can say, hey, I have some property disclosures, it's required, so provide them that. Provide them with some marketing tips, safety tips. Like I said earlier with the lady who was bringing her newborn. It's a safety issue for you to do that. So you want to provide them with items of value when you email or when you mail something to them. You can offer them the whole of free open house, right? So what are open houses for? Is it really to sell that property? Mm-hmm. But it's not really. You may look up and sell a property in an open house, but typically it's to get buyers. So you're offering them host a free open house for them, and you're not charging them, and they're like, wow, this agent is really a great agent who's willing to do an open house for free. So just looking at some items of value to get to that for sale by owner. You want to provide your unique value proposition, right? Your UVP, so that you can show them that you're the realtor and keep top of mind. So all of this system is to stay top of mind with that for sale by owner, because they eventually will list with an agent. Okay? Questions? PowerPoint,
I have
come
a
up.
question.
Sure, Ms. Sue.
Okay, so if you give them too much information, they use it to their benefit. So how much information do you give them, and how long before you give them that information?
So it depends on the information you provide, right? So I give disclosures. They can get that from anywhere. I'll give them a tip on, marketing their property. Typically, the tips that I give is not gonna. I mean, they may use it, but it doesn't create a situation where they're gonna use it to sell the property. When I go out and show them comps, I don't leave the comps. So.
Right.
So it's just you're gonna just give them something for you to stay top of mind.
So you say you don't need the comps, what if they ask you for them? What do you say?
I say the comps change every day, so this wouldn't be useful to tomorrow, right? We may get another property in that sells. So this is just for this time that we are gonna have a conversation regarding current comps. All right, preparation. It is important for you to know what you're going to say. You have to have materials prepared to give them. You want to create an 8x8 customized for sale by owners. You set your goals, find them, organize your information on each listing. So you're going to prepare a for sale by owner just like you would prepare for a listing appointment. Okay? So have your information, be ready. You're going to know what to say, and then you're going to put them on a drip campaign with that whole follow-up system that we talked about.
So we haven't come in, customized this.
Not that I know of. However, we probably do.
Yeah.
You probably do, but you need to tweak it for you. Right? But there probably is a an 8x8. There's definitely an 8x8.
Yes.
Okay? So this is the touch, if you don't have it, the touch campaign. Review properly and leave a FSBO packet or a pre-listing packet, right? So you're gonna review the property, and we're gonna tell you how to get there to preview it. And you always want to leave something at the for sale by owner if you don't get the listing right away. Okay? You send a postcard or a letter for each touch and call after one of the mailings. Because that, remember I said, email, call, you can even text if you have the number. Right? It's all about the follow-up. Make a phone call. Send different postcards or letters. Right? We have enough information. You can talk about what's going on with their neighborhood or anything. Like, part of your newsletter could be a touch. So whatever you decide on how your touches is, you need to do them again. Every Monday it should be a call because you want to check on them and then make a touch. So this is just an example of a for sale 8x8. But you got to customize it to what's comfortable for you. Okay? Again, Mondays are the best day. All right. So now we're going to do some script and role plays. Y'all ready? All right. So there's an introductory script. So I'm going to have someone read. What do you do when you're calling? So you found a for sale by owner, you were driving, and you wrote it down, but you haven't called them yet, Denise. So what we're going to do, we're going to call them now, right? Okay. So read the script.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. Thank you for taking my call. This is Lee Lewis with Keller Williams Realty. Is your home still for sale at 2121 Grapevine Street?
Yes, it's still.
Great. I work with many buyers in the area, and because there's such a shortage of homes available now, I'm calling to see if I can preview your property to determine if your home would be a great match for my buyers.
You have a buyer for my property?
I possibly have several buyers for your property. I'm a local real estate expert in the area. My job is to know about all of the available homes on the market, not just the ones in the multiple listing service.
Okay. So basically, you're calling them, and what is the purpose of the introductory script?
Well, you let them know a little bit about you, what your qualifications are, and I guess what your intentions are, and to let them know that you're able to assist them in their goal of selling their home.
Okay. So they're okay at this point, right? Because when I asked you that objection, do you have buyers? Because most of the time that's what they ask. You got buyers in my house?
Right.
And so you're gonna see later on in the script how I kind of adjust my script to that. But you're basically wanting to know, right? You want to let them know that you're the local real estate expert. You want to know everything that's available on the market. Maybe not everything's on MLS. So if I have a buyer and your house matches my buyer needs, then it may be a great fit. But the whole thing is I'm leading to getting an appointment. I want to come preview your house. Okay? Because you need to get in the house. The whole objection on for sale by owner is to get in the house. Any questions on the intro? All right. So then I get to start asking questions a little bit more than I want to know a little bit about the home. So Joan, what's the home information script?
Oh, I have it here.
It's the same thing. What is that on there?
May I ask you that? May I ask you where you're going to move that? Is that
Okay.
one?
So no, I guess I don't have that on there. So let's do the home information script next.
Okay.
That's on the screen. So the purpose of this is to get more information about the house.
Well, basically, can I just delete and live? Just say.
Let's do this first and then we can add it.
Oh, okay.
Because we're recording.
It's not on here.
Okay. So just read off the screen.
Oh, shucks. I'm sorry. Oh, please, describe your home for me.
Oh, I have a beautiful home. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I have a beautiful kitchen. I just recently updated it. And I just love the renovations that I've done.
Okay, great. What are the best features of your home?
Like I mentioned before, the kitchen. It's a chef's delight.
Wonderful, wonderful. Have you completed renovations within the past 3 years?
Okay. So I just kind of told you about it. So there you can say, oh, besides the kitchen, what other renovations have you done? Because what you're trying to get at is to see what type of condition the house is in so that when you pull your comps,
Yes.
you can have a better idea of what you're going into. Okay? All right. So we're going to go into the next one, which I think is, that one's on there. Okay. So
May I ask where you're moving to?
I need to get to Florida.
Okay, great. How soon do you need to be there?
Actually, I need to get my kids in school starting in the fall. And so I have about 2 months that I need to get this house sold.
Okay, well, we can do that. I can take care of that. What price are you asking for the property?
So I have it for $325.
Oh, really? Just out of curiosity, how did you choose the price?
Well, there's a couple of houses that sold in my neighborhood, and my house is so much better than them. They sold for like $300. So because of the renovations that I completed, I think my house is valued for more.
Oh, interesting. Well, how long have you been trying to sell your house by yourself?
It's been about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Great. All right. So this is what trying to get to the motivation of script. It's trying to see how fast they need to get their house sold. So now you know they have to go to Florida. They've been marketing for 2 weeks. It's So that's key. So when you call on those follow-ups, you're asking any showings this week, right? You know that they have to get there in 2 months. So you have a time frame on what the seller's motivation is. Any questions, Ms. Sue?
I have a question.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
I know it's good to follow and everything. Do people actually pick up the phone and answer when you're calling?
Absolutely.
They do? Okay. All right.
Take calling.
Because, sometimes they're looking at the call ID, they're like, I don't know you or whatever. Different things. I will be bothered or what have you. So I just want to know.
They're trying to sell a house. They're going to answer the phone.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You just got to convince them for you to sell it. You don't want to sell it. But no, they answer. All right. So, Ms. Jones, take over.
Now that you decided to sell your, I'm sorry, now that you decided to sell your house, how would you rate your motivation on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest?
Oh, I'm very motivated. I gotta get to Florida. So I'm 10. I would say 10.
Wonderful. Why did you decide to sell your house instead of deciding to list with a real estate agent?
Because I don't want to pay you commission. I can sell it by I can do it on my own. I don't need this. Like y'all commission is too expensive. I can't afford it.
Oh, I see. So you must be a professional. How much time will you take before you consider hiring a white agent for the job to sell your house?
Well, I'm gonna try it as long as I can because I just put it on the market 2 weeks ago, so I'm sure I can get it sold. So I don't need really to pay that commission for an agent. Right?
Excellent.
Okay. So you always agree. You always agree.
Always, okay.
Always agree. You never want to not agree with them, right?
Always agree.
Because you always want to stay positive. So basically here, they're really adamant about the commission, right?
Yes.
And they don't want to use a real estate agent. So now you know they don't want to sell with a real estate agent. So your objection is to convince them otherwise. Okay? All right?
I just have a question. It's
Sure.
probably self-explanatory and probably obvious. When you said, now that you decide to sell your house, how would you rate your motivation? Well, they already told you that they're gonna, they need to be in Florida by a certain time and they're trying to sell. So, do you even need to ask that question?
The reason why you're asking is to put it on their mind that they got to sell quickly. So you're really just re-emphasizing to them that their motivation is high, right? If they would have said, well, I'm just trying to test the market at a 4 or 5, then they're really not motivated to sell. And then you really want to go after that listing. You may be able to convince them. But if they're saying, no, I'm just testing the market, right? And what they said previously is not matching where they're really serious about selling, then it might be a waste of your time. So that's why it's important for you to ask that question again.
Okay.
Right? Who's this? Lise?
What type of marketing are you using to sell your house?
Oh, I got a sign in the front yard and I put it on Zillow.
Really? Oh, really? Do you even read that too on the screen?
So I'm gonna read it to you.
Okay.
Only because this is what I do, right? I got it's from Bold. Okay, so most agents do the 3 P's of real estate. They place a sign in the yard, they put it in multiple listing service and pray someone else sells it. Basically, they're doing exactly what you've done, but you don't say that, right? Okay, I on the other hand do the 4 P's, which is proactively prospect to find buyers for my seller. Isn't that what you wanted an agent to do for you? I mean, if you hire an agent, right? Okay.
Great.
So what you're basically doing is changing their mind, trying to change their mindset of why they need to hire an agent. Because what they're just doing is, he said, I'm putting a sign in the yard and I'm placing it on Zillow. So I do more than that. I proactively prospect for buyers every day, right? I don't just pray that someone's going to sell it for me. So this is to, again, start changing their mindset on why an agent is important. Are you familiar with my marketing techniques that I use to get homes sold? So what they going to say?
No.
No, because they don't. So he's told me what he's doing, right? So, but are you familiar with what I do to get homes sold?
No.
I
Okay.
have an idea.
I'm just having a conversation with them to make them start thinking, oh, wait, is there more additional marketing techniques that I can use to get my house sold? Okay. So now here, this is the value proposition. This is me saying what I do to get homes sold. All right. So your closing script is,
When would be the best time to show you? At 4 or at 5 o'clock today?
so I basically asked them, are you familiar with what I do to get homes sold? And they say no, and so I go straight to that and try to get an appointment. So when would be the best time for me to show you? At 3 o'clock today or 4 o'clock tomorrow? They always give them 2 alternative times.
Will all the decision makers be present?
So why am I asking that?
Because if it's more than one owner, then you need everybody to be aware of what's happening. Be on one page and to be ready to sign it, all as well.
Absolutely. This was a big mistake I made. I was so excited. I thought I had that for sale by owner, and they all scripted me and said, well, my husband's not here. And I got to discuss this with my husband. I just knew I was having that listing. So you want to know ahead of time about decision makers, because if they're not going to be there, well, who's the other decision maker? When will he be home or she be home? So let's schedule it around so that both of you can be there. Okay? Then I look forward to meeting you, and we'll see you and then you confirm the appointment. Okay? Okay. So any questions? So, okay.
When he said, well, where are you moving to? When he said Florida, I think I'll automatically would have said, well, what brings you to Florida?
So this is a general script,
Yeah.
so you can go deeper to get more information,
Yes.
right? The purpose of just knowing where they're going and how soon they need to be there will determine if your whole strategy for marketing and getting an appointment to make sure that, okay, they're in a time frame where they need to sell quickly, right? What they're doing by just putting it on a for sale by owner may or may not work. Now, for sale by owners, sometimes when the market is slower, you may have more for sale by owners because their house has been sitting. But in a hot market, it's harder if they have a long time that they don't have to really sell quickly. Okay, so it just depends on the market. However, I have been successful with for sale by owners in any market. It's about getting the appointment. It's about showing them your value. That's the biggest thing for sale by owners, and it's a follow-up. Because if they just came on market, they're not gonna list. But a month later, when they don't have anyone, there's no showings, or the people that's coming is not really motivated and not qualified, then they're gonna get tired. And they're gonna look for an agent, and if you stay top of mind, the likely you're gonna be the agent. So the fortune is in a follow-up on FSBOs. You have to be consistent. You have to do it every week. Anytime you see a for sale by owner, you want to copy their information down. You want to call them right away. Or if you're getting them every day through one of those sources, those paid sources, that should be your Monday routine is to work on for sale by owners. Because 9 times out of 10, they're frustrated because they don't have showings. All right, Ms. Sue, you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I have a suggestion though.
Sure.
I would definitely mention that, putting the house on a broker's tour, what kind of marketing that I would do other than just put it on the MLS, other things to let them know that I'm not just going to put the sign in the yard.
Absolutely. That's why they script about the 4 P's and what marketing techniques, and you want to tell them to get them so they can be like, what else do you do, right? Offer them to do a free broker tour. Offer them to do a free open house, right?
Mhm.
It's just tips, and it's giving value to them. Like, this is what I can do for you.
But how do you give them a broker tour if you can't put that information in the MLS, can you?
No, you can't, but you still can advertise that you're having an open house during that time,
I bet.
right? Just like you can't really, I mean, you don't have the listing, but you still can advertise for them
Yes.
that you're having an open house.
Gotcha.
It can be a one-time, listing appointment for just that day. I mean, you can do some creative things to market the property for them. You're just giving them something of value to say, this is what I do with all of my for sale by owner listings, right? I do this for you free of charge. Miss Sue, anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for participating in For Sale by Owner. And next month, I will be doing a lead generation by your personnel profile, just profiles. Okay, so that's in January. I'll do that class so that you can best understand which strategies, your lead generation strategy fits your personality. Because a lot of people will try different things and they're just grasping. But if you focus on things that are more your personality, you'll be more successful and likely to succeed.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Miss Sue.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe in?